Alright, so Assassin's Creed Odyssey was revealed with a big fuck off demo. Now, I know that I made a video going over my thoughts on the overall reveal, but I did say that I would make a video where I broke down the demo, so this will be that video. Obviously, that's not to say that I won't miss things, but I will try my best to break down as much as I possibly can. But I have watched the demo a good few times, and there's quite a bit to take a look at, so be ready to just sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee or something cool, and enjoy the breakdown. First things first, there are these massive statues all over the place. I'm not entirely sure if those were there in actual history. I'm going to say probably for the most part they weren't, but there seem to be quite a few of these, as we saw a few in the trailers. Obviously it's emphasis on the mythic, which makes perfect sense. Moving on.
Hi, I'm Scott Phillips, Game Director on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Today I'm excited to give you a sneak peek at 3 years of hard work from the Ubisoft Quebec team.
So as we can see, naval gameplay is back, and also we got specifics on how long they've been working on this game, which at the moment is 3 years, which is no different to games like Unity, which got the exact same amount of time. So that stupid argument that people pull to support yearly releases,
they got an extra year with Origins.
Yeah, no they didn't. That's just how it is, I'm afraid. Anyway, let's move on.
As we've continued to transform Assassin's Creed into a full-blown RPG with choice at the center of everything in the game.
So the franchise has fully gone down the RPG path here, having choices that matter now officially confirmed. And personally, I really love that style of RPG. It works for games like The Witcher, so it has proven to work in the past. I guess we'll have to wait and see to find out how well it works with Assassin's Creed, but I am a little bit hopeful.
In Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you will play a mercenary who embarks on an epic odyssey to reunite their family and confront the ones who tore it apart. During that adventure, you will sail the Aegean seas and explore the lands of ancient Greece, circa 5th century BCE. And for the first time ever, you will choose to play as either a male or female hero, Alexios or Cassandra.
I do find myself concerned as to how this might hinder the character as an individual within the game, but being able to choose whether or not your character is male or female gives the player more freedom, which is what RPGs are all about. So as long as no matter which character you play as, the character is good, I'm not fussed.
Both heroes share the same fully realized story and amazing gameplay.
So whether you play as Alexios or Cassandra will not affect the story or how your choices affect the story, or the gameplay along the way for that matter.
Today, we're going to play as Cassandra as she arrives at the beautiful Greek island of Mykonos.
I just want to say that I really like the colour palette here. Also, I really like the landscape, and put together it makes for a really beautiful scenery.
Ah, Mykonos Island, built from the corpses of giants slain by the legendary Iraklis.
Read me the note again.
Eagle-bearing Mystios. That's you. We are a small but fierce group of rebels who'd pay you handsomely to help us overthrow our Athenian oppressors.
This demo is set in the year 431 BCE, which is the year that the Peloponnesian War kicked off. Trouble with the Athenians does seem quite fitting for the era, so there is some history to be played into it here. How that progresses later on in the story, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it does seem rather interesting within itself, so I look forward to seeing that.
A warrior named Diocles fights with them. None who face him survive. Please, Mystios. Our people are dying. Signed, Kira.
Yes, you noticed it, and so did I. Dialogue options. It looks like they're done right for a game like this as well, where the protagonist is voiced, showing you not the full sentence of what the protagonist will say, but showing you exactly what will be said in a very brief way. I really don't like it in games when the dialogue options are just topics to discuss or emotions to respond with, and as a result you don't know what you're actually pressing and wind up coming out with an outcome to that conversation that you didn't want at all. So it's good to see that it seems as if you will always be able to tell what direction the dialogue will be going in this game.
What did your informant tell you?
Word has already spread of you sinking those ships. There's a price on your head.
If you look into the bottom right corner, it would seem as if there is a notoriety bar. As long as it's balanced and not too frustrating and in your face at all times, I won't be too fussed at this. In fact, it shows depth in the game. Your actions will affect your notoriety in the world. So if you sink a fleet of Athenians, for example, you'll become notorious. And so the world doesn't act like what you've done never happened.
Whew, that didn't take long.
There's also word of Spartans landing on Mykonos.
So, I'm here to find Kira, who wants me to kill Diocles.
An Athenian ally.
Who's at war with Sparta.
And don't forget the bounty!
Business as usual, then.
I'm really liking the ambient music in the background. It's very Greek feeling, and at the same time it seems to fit the town areas. I hope that the ambience music is region specific, so certain tunes will only play in towns, others in tombs, and others in caves sort of thing. That would really enhance the experience for me. I won't hold out a flame for it because I feel as if that's a really niche thing to expect. But just the same, it would be pretty cool.
Gods protect you, Cassandra.
Thanks, Varnavas. But they'll be too busy protecting Diocles from me.
We've been spotted! Go! I'll handle this!
Fight them for all you're worth!
The HUD layout does seem quite similar to Assassin's Creed Origins. You've got your quest in the top left, your level in the top right. You've got a compass at the top of the screen. Towards the bottom left, however, it does appear as if there is something of a weapon wheel going on. I mean, I'm assuming that's what it is. It could be something else.
Ella. Mercenary. This can't be good.
So it seems that where Assassin's Creed Origins had the Phylax, or however you pronounce that properly, Assassin's Creed Odyssey has a similar system, but instead of the Phylax, they are called mercenaries. I'd imagine they'll function similarly to the Phylax in Origins, but hopefully if that thing in the bottom right hand corner is a notoriety gauge, that will affect how able they are to find you, and how often they'll show up.
You want my head?
Just like in Origins, it does seem as if weapons have specific effects and traits, like fire damage for example.
Come and take it!
It doesn't take much to see that the combat is pretty much what it was in Origins, however the animations do look a bit cleaner, which is something that I really like, and I like the Origins combat, so that means that there's been an improvement there at the very least. It also looks like the adrenaline gauge is back, which is really good because that was really useful in combat. So yeah, despite looking similar and being similar to the Origins combat overall, it does seem as if there have been some polishings going on, at the very least.
Should have left me alone.
And just like in Origins, you can pick up gear off of your fallen enemies. For example, in this demo, the player seems to have picked up a helmet. The gear menu layout also seems quite similar to Origins in how everything is organised, but at the same time things do look a little different. If anything, in my opinion, this looks a lot more polished and honestly better. The skill tree also looks a lot more polished, actually being skilled trees now as opposed to one big skill graph. So instead of investing points into skills that could go in different directions, they all are invested in specific abilities that affect a specific skill path like Assassin, Warrior or Hunter, as we can see here. Just like in Origins, however, you do get skill points from leveling up, which is the only logical way, but I thought I'd mention that so you all know. Also, this spear seems to be a massive thing for the game. Of course, this is a spear that you actually have in the game. It's something that you always have on you. And from what I've read and considering how it looks here, we can gather that this spear is in fact a piece of Eden. Or at least that's what I've heard. Regardless, it will be an item of some power, either narratively or in gameplay, or both, which is rather cool. Just taking a second to admire how gorgeous that view is with the statue in the background. The visuals that we've seen so far have been absolutely stunning.
Varnavas was right. Spartans have made themselves right at home. I'm looking for Kira.
What do you want with her? The mercenary who bears the eagle of Zeus.
Obviously, we can gather that this is fairly early on in the game because we start out as a mercenary, and in this point in the story, it appears as if the protagonist still is.
You got my message.
It said something about paying me handsomely.
Mercenaries.
I'd imagine this reaction emphasises how the protagonist will be treated earlier on in the game, being a mercenary, earning respect as they progress through the story and become more a legendary Spartan hero and all of that lovely stuff.
Athenians have enslaved our people for too long. Help us free Mykonos from their grasp, and you'll have more drachmi than you can carry.
I'm here to kill Diocles, not go to war.
Which is why I sent word of a rebellion to you and Sparta.
My men are ferocious in a ground assault, but we're outnumbered.
And Diocles fights with the fury of Ares.
Join us in battle. If you're half the warrior Kira says you are, we'll grind these Athenians into dust.
It does seem as if there will be an option to refuse quests, as suggested by the second dialogue option that's not chosen here, although I feel as if that might actually just be putting off the quest as opposed to outright refusing it.
All right, Spartan. I'll fight with you. But Diocles is mine.
To battle then.
This battle is quite dense when it comes to how many NPCs are actually on screen, and it looks really nice. This is something that we can say we didn't see in Origins. We did have a battle in the game, but it was nowhere near as densely packed as this. I do worry about what too much crowding can do for performance, but I'm going to put some faith into this game here, because it looks super immersive. It also shows off how much more polished the combat actually looks, with some new kill animations and all of that wonderful stuff. This part of the demo also shows off the return of boss fights, though we did have one of sorts earlier on, and it doesn't look like the most difficult boss fight ever, but at the same time it does look like it requires you to at least think, which will encourage you to not mindlessly button mash, which is something that I can 100% get behind, though Origins boss fights were almost the exact same, but that's not a bad thing. It seems as if this boss has reached some form of enraged state in which they suddenly become even harder to fight. A feature we've seen in games like Shadow of War. This is what that looks like, which would be really cool. If you piss off a boss in a certain way, they suddenly become harder to defeat as a result. I really like the battle music here as well. It's quite fast paced, quite Greek feeling at the same time, and honestly very fitting. And snuck in at the end of this demo, it seems as if we have got Layla Hassan here, which confirms that she will be returning in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is really good news for the modern day storyline, as we'll have another chance to invest in Layla as opposed to being thrown into somebody else's shoes in the modern day, which makes the game having a point seemingly more convincing. Oh look, a mythic beast. This one seems to be a Minotaur, which means that obviously there will be emphasis on the mythological side of ancient Greece. And I'm sure they'll explain it off in a similar way to how they explained off the giant snake in Assassin's Creed Origins. So it could be in like some trance-like sequence. However, this could actually be a Minotaur just getting about and we could just send it extinct, which would be a bit silly, but you never know. Now, I'm not a huge fan of when Assassin's Creed games just use Ezio's family theme, but I don't feel as if that'll be the main theme, so I'm not too fussed. While we're here, the cover art looks pretty sick as well. And of course, the game will be coming out on the 5th of October 2018 for the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 4 Pro, and PC. So all in all, I have no reasons to be worried as far as Assassin's Creed Odyssey is concerned, really. I'm quite satisfied with what's been shown so far and the quality of the like. The game looks gorgeous, it sounds gorgeous, the game looks fun, it looks very similar to Origins at the same time. I'd say that the HUD and map layout looks a lot nicer though. We didn't see any of the map in that demo, I don't think, but everything looks a bit less harsh. And when I say that, I mean in colour, of course, and when things look sleeker, they tend to look nicer. I know a lot of people are concerned as to how the game is relevant to Assassin's Creed, and I do share that concern to a degree, but at the moment I'm open to new ideas to see if this is anything fresh. And if it works, cool, maybe it's time to incorporate something a bit more relevant. If not, maybe it's time to go back to fundamentals a bit more. It also might hold relevance as far as the modern day storyline is concerned, if there is one, which I hope there is. Either way, to see how much relevance this game holds, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I do understand where people are coming from when they say that this isn't Assassin's Creed, because it doesn't really seem to be an Assassin or Templar story, at least as far as the historical stuff goes. But the bottom line for me at the moment has been that caring for Assassin's Creed has gotten a little bit exhausting, so I'm just going to try to enjoy this one. If I see any proper issues with it though, I will speak up, but for now, the game seems fine in my books. So anyway guys, thank you all for watching. I do hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share, let me know what you think down in the comment section about this demo. Is there anything that you noticed that I did not? Let me know. Be sure to go ahead and drop me a follow on Twitter as well. I would really appreciate that. And I'll see you all very soon with another video at some point.